Hey guys, welcome back to Nanny's Recipe. So today we got a recipe for strawberry gateau. It's one of my favorite cake recipes, and welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel, and if you do like this, please don't forget to subscribe, click the link and like, share and subscribe. Thank you. So for the base of this cake, we're using the recipe for Genoise cake. For this you need 70 grams of plain flour, 70 grams of sugar, 3 medium-sized eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and 15 grams of butter, melted butter, and milk, 10 grams of milk. So you can measure out these recipes, and roughly I would say a teaspoon is 5 grams. So we're going to break open the eggs, and we're going to beat these eggs. That's the first step. So I'm going to bring them into a bowl, and I'm going to whisk them up now. So I got my 3 eggs ready in the bowl, and to this I'm going to add 70 grams of custard sugar. So once the sugar and the eggs are added, we're going to beat this up. But there's a difference here. We're going to beat this mixture over simmering water or over a bowl of hot water. So I got a saucepan here, and I'm going to add hot boiling water to that, and we're going to place this bowl over this, and we're going to gently start whisking it together. So this method is also known as a double boiling method or the bain-marie method. So once you start whisking, start on a low speed and just keep going, because we don't want any scrambled eggs. So after 2 to 3 minutes, you will start seeing the color becoming paler, and I want to show you how pale it goes and what consistency we're after. So start off with this bright yellow. Now it has gone to a pale yellow, and you can see it's doubling up in size. For Genoise cake, we do not add any baking soda or baking powder. It's this air that's going to keep the sponge light. So you can see that it's become pale white, and it's nearly coming to the consistency we want, because we want that ribbon forming. So after about 5 to 6 minutes, you can see that we got the textures, it doubled in size, and it's got that ribbony things forming. So we're ready now. Now to this, we take it off the heat of the hot water, and now I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and to this now we're going to add melted butter and milk. So I just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and I'm just going to add it to this. So how I add is I take a mixture, a teaspoon of the mixture, put it into the milk and butter, mix it all together, and then I'm going to add it to our sponge mix. If you add it all at one time, you might lose some air that we just created. So I'm going to add this now. Now next step is to whisk this all together, but just to mix it all, so literally for a minute. So I'm going to use my electric whisk now. I would advise to use an electric whisk, because otherwise it's quite hard with a manual one, but if you have only got a manual whisk, it's fine. So just give it a good mix, and once this all mixed together, our wet ingredients are ready. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients. So it's just the plain flour, no other additives are needed. So ever so slightly just sieve it into the wet mixture. So doing it like this, you just make sure that it evenly gets into our wet ingredients, and you have some air building up. So now I'm going to use a spatula, and I'm just going to ever so lightly mix this, all the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients, very, very slowly, so I don't want to lose all that air. So we scrape from the side and cut in the middle, and that's how we're going to mix. So it might just take a couple of minutes for you to get this, but here we are. It's all mixed up, and now you see those little air pockets. So to get rid of that, you just pour the batter into your greased mold cake tin, to which I've added a parchment paper at the bottom from a height. So that way those little air pockets won't form. And before you do this, make sure you have preheated your oven to 160 degrees for fan assisted oven, and make sure you have greased your cake tin as well on the sides, and you put a baking paper as well, parchment paper as well. Now we poured it out, and I'm just going to tap it gently, just make sure there's no air pockets inside, and we're ready to bake this 160 degrees centigrade fan assisted oven for 25 minutes. So while that is baking, we're going to make the mixture ready for topping and also for icing our cake. Now we're going to have I've taken about a cup of fresh strawberries. To this I've added some sugar, lemon juice, and a little bit of water, and I'm literally just going to make a strawberry syrup. If your strawberries are not sweet enough, you can add a bit more sugar to the mixture, let it come to a boil, and just wait for about, so I've come to a boil and let it boil for another 10 minutes until it forms a nice syrupy consistency and is reduced. So that's our mixture ready. Now our cake is done, and look at it, how lovely it looks. It's nice, airy, spongy, absolutely brilliant, and you wouldn't believe that you haven't added any baking soda or baking powder to it, because I was surprised myself. So I'm gonna top it over, get it onto a cooling rack, and I'm just gonna let it cool down for about 15 minutes and let the cake cool down. So once the cake is cooled down, I scraped a little bit off the top, and I'm just literally going on the side and just dividing the mixture into two halves. And how lovely does it look? Look at all the nice texture we got, how light and airy it is. So our sponge is ready. So that's our Genoise sponge ready. So now we're going to make some whipped cream. You can see this bowl has been kept in the freezer because you need a cold bowl to start with. So into this bowl I'm going to add 600 mils of whipping cream, double cream. So you don't need all the 600 mils. I just took extra so that we don't want to be short of any icing. I think 400 mils will be exactly right, but we're going with this. And to this I've added a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Now to this mixture I'm going to whisk this now until it forms nice soft peaks. If you want added sweetness to your sugar, to your whipped cream, you can add caster sugar, but I did not need any more. So that's my whipped cream ready for icing. Now I'm going to get ready with some almonds that I bought. So these are readily toasted flaked almonds. You can toast it yourself. You can just buy plain almonds and just deskin them and toast them on a low flame. But these were readily done, so all I'm doing is just bashing them up into smaller pieces. So we've got everything ready, and it's just time for assembly. So you can see I put little strips of parchment paper on the sides so that I can take them off after I finish icing, and it'll be nice and tidy. So now we come to the messy part now. So I got about 2 lathes of whipped cream, and I haven't got a palette knife, I just got a normal knife, and I'm just going to use it to spread it across all the way to the edge of the sponge. And then over this we're going to add strawberries. These are fresh strawberries that I cut in half and quarters, so just according to the size of the strawberries that you have, you just add them in any form and shape that you want. So I've added them in a circular shape, so when you cut into the cake you'll get a slice of the strawberries. Now I'm going to place the other half of the sponge upside down, and now we're going to ice on the top and the sides, and I like to fill all the little space and corners. You could also use a piping bag to get to the little space in between the sponge, but I've just used a palette knife, normal knife here. So I'm just going to go around, just ice it evenly. This part is a little bit messy because you got to get to the sides of the cake, and you just got to make sure everything is evenly smoothed out. Like I said, I haven't added any sugar in my whipped cream in the icing because the sponge was sweet enough for me. The strawberries were sweet as well, and I made the syrup as well. But like I said, if you need a little bit more sweetness to this cake, you can add about half a cup of sugar to your whipping cream when you start whipping it. So now I'm just going around, just evenly just making sure it's nice and even to the sides everywhere. So don't worry about the sides of the cake. It might look a bit messy now, but we're going to cover this all up with the almonds. So these are the flake almonds that we had earlier on. So I'm just literally going all over the edge, all over the side, just literally keeping it across the cake and just sticking it to the cake. And look at that, it's looking nice and lovely there. And now I'm gonna put some on the sides, on the top, and use your creativity, use how much ever you want to do. And I'm just going around with some strawberries, some fresh strawberries that I've cut them in half. I'm just going around them. I formed like a little boundary because to this I'm going to add that strawberries that we cooked earlier in a syrup. So if you don't want to make this, you can just simply use strawberry jam over this. That's all right as well. I'm just going to spoon those syrup all over the cake, and look at them drizzling down to the sides. It's going to be yummy when you cut into the cake as well. So we nearly finished with our strawberry gateau. All is left is some decoration with some whipped cream. Use your creativity, use whatever kind of decoration you like. I'm just going in between the strawberries and just decorating it some whipped cream. And I'm just going to scrape, literally take those little pieces of parchment paper out, just tidy up the cake on the sides, and just wipe the corners of the plate as well, and just look it more presentable. That's all. So this is why we put the strips in, because it's quite easy to tidy up the cake, and it'll look lovely. So here we are, that's our strawberry gateau done. How lovely and gorgeous does it look, guys? I was so excited to get into it. It's so easy to make as well. You just need a little bit of time and patience, just get into it, and it's so tasty. And I would just want to show you how lovely the cake was. I'm going to cut into the cake, and you can see how spongy and airy that was. It was like cutting into a piece of, it was so nice. The knife just literally glides into the cake. I didn't have to put no effort. Oh, look at that. And that is our gorgeous piece of strawberry gateau. I hope you all will give it a try. I hope you all will subscribe and let me know how it went. Thank you, guys. Thank you for subscribing to Nanny's Recipes. Please like, share, comment, and I'll see you soon with a new recipe. Take care. Bye.